Hello, I'm Game Retainer, and in this video I'll be going over some mistakes that many players often make in 7 Days to Die. This video is aimed at beginners, but if you are a veteran player and you have things you want to add, then feel free to leave a comment below. Now let's dive in. Don't underestimate or overestimate Horde Knights. If you decide to throw a few wooden blocks together for your first Horde and just jump on top of it, then things probably won't work out for you. That said, there's no real need to spend several days putting together a huge elaborate structure, as it's a bit of a waste of time, especially early on. You can always wait out Horde Knights on top of a sturdy building, but if you do decide to build a base from scratch, then keep it simple during the earlier stages. Cobblestone should offer enough protection, provided that you have enough pillars for support. Building a base from scratch is fun, but if you don't go looting, you aren't going to find magazines, books and gear to help you through Horde Night. You can build the strongest base possible, but if you don't have any decent weapons to fight the zombies, it's not really going to end well. Usually, for the first Horde, I just take any sturdy POI like Del's Calf, remove the ladders and fire down at the zombies from above. Yes, it's a bit boring, but it gives me plenty of time to go and complete missions and load up on supplies. This next one is a personal sore spot because I've done this more than once. If you want to have a moat around your base, then be careful. Moats can be pretty handy at keeping zombies at bay, however zombies are also structural engineers and they love to dig. Make sure that you have sturdy walls in your moat to stop zombies from digging underneath your base. Having your whole base crash down around you isn't really a fun experience. This isn't just for moats. Whatever you're building, really focus on structural integrity and beware of digging zombies. Staying with structural integrity, upgrade from the bottom up. This is another mistake I've made more than once. I know this is a painfully obvious one, but it is pretty easy to forget. Always start from the ground up when it comes to your base, otherwise you risk a collapse. Moving on, this next one is for new players. Don't forget to put down a land claim block, especially if you've set up shop in an existing POI. Placing a land claim block does a few things. First, it allows you to pick up workbenches, forges and chemistry stations. Second, it stops zombies from respawning inside the building. If you're playing on a public server, then a land claim block helps to prevent other players from destroying your things. But most importantly, the land claim block prevents you or other players from accidentally resetting the POI. When you put down a land claim block inside a POI, it removes that location from the trader mission cycle. Now, these blocks aren't perfect, there are occasional bugs with zombie spawns, but these blocks are essential for base protection. By default, you can have up to 3 land claim blocks active at any given time. If you place down a 4th land claim block, then the first one you place down becomes void. Next is not placing down bedrolls. Similar to land claim blocks, beds also prevent zombies from spawning within a set radius. By default, beds stop cleared zombies from respawning within a 15 block radius. But you can adjust this and make it bigger or smaller under the multiplayer settings tab. When you want to sell weapons, tools or armor, don't forget to check the durability before you sell. If an item is close to breaking, it's not going to be worth very much. Usually it's more cost effective to repair an item and then sell it. Doing this will make a considerable difference to the amount of dukes you get. Also, another mistake that's very easy to make is selling the wrong thing to traders. Unless you have plenty of extras, things that can't be crafted, like vitamins, painkillers, beakers and acid, are worth hanging on to. This is something I've done many times. I'll sell something thinking I won't need it, only to run into trouble later on. One good rule for this, if you aren't sure whether you should or shouldn't sell a particular item, then you should probably hang on to it, just in case. One mistake that I see quite a lot of players doing is breaking down vehicles like police cars and working stiff tool vans. Wrenching down vehicles is great for getting all sorts of components, but the vehicles I mentioned are best left in one piece. Depending on your settings, after a set period of time, loot containers will reset. Police cars and tools vans tend to have decent loot inside them. So leave them in one piece and you'll be able to loot them over and over again. Staying with salvaging for a little longer, you might be missing out on some salvageable goods. Things like ceiling lights, searchable workbenches, stoves and pipes can all be broken down for parts. When clearing a POI, it's worth breaking down as much as possible. Reading books, magazines and schematics all give you XP, without any boosts or buffs. you'll typically get 50 XP when reading something. If you don't know, there's a little icon next to reading materials. If the icon shows a closed book, then it means you should read it. But if you see an open book, then you already know it and you should sell it. Not only will you get some dukes, but books and schematics give you more XP when you sell them to traders than when you read them. This next one is not necessarily a mistake, but I wanted to include it anyway. Unless you're playing with friends and you all want to ride around together, maybe avoid making the 4x4. It's a very costly vehicle to make, and while it does have more storage slots than any other vehicle, it's incredibly weak. Despite being an off-road vehicle, the slightest knock does a considerable amount of damage. Not only that, but the 4x4 is a very dramatic vehicle. One wrong move and it'll start breakdancing. In my opinion, the best vehicle in the game is the motorcycle, and now that vehicle storage mods are a thing, placing 2 of these on your motorcycle will give you plenty of storage slots. It's also considerably easier to drive than the 4x4, and it's surprisingly durable. One other thing to avoid when it comes to vehicles is driving during Horde night. Driving on Horde night will spawn in spitting vultures that can literally lift your vehicle off the ground. This is a mistake that most players will have made at some point because there's no real way of knowing this, aside from watching videos like this. Don't dig straight down. Now, this isn't Minecraft, so you're not going to accidentally go for a swim in lava. However, if you dig straight down and a wandering horde comes by, or even a couple of stray zombies, you'll be in a pretty uncomfortable situation. If a zombie jumps down into your hole, you probably aren't going to be able to nerd pole your way up. When you dig a hole, either place down some ladders as you go, or dig at an angle so you don't get stuck. Don't keep tapping the button when using augers and chainsaws. You produce considerably less heat if you just hold the button in. You will waste a little bit of fuel, but you will generate significantly less heat. Also, when mining, stay crouched. For some reason, mining while crouched produces less heat than if you mine standing up. This next one is something that I can almost guarantee every single player has done. You make your way through a POI and you enter a room where you can see the loot right in front of you. You run up to grab it and end up with a nasty surprise. If loot looks easy to grab, it's probably not. I've died countless times by trying to run up and grab the goodies without paying attention to my surroundings. Almost every main loot room in the game has some kind of trap for you to trigger. So be vigilant and try not to run in blind. Look out for things like collapsing floors. Usually, if a floor is set to collapse when you stand on it, it'll look slightly different to regular flooring. Also, doorways tend to be trigger points for sleeper zombies. So be mindful when you're making your way from room to room. If you find a POI and you want to come back and visit it at a later point, put a marker on your map. If you want to go one step further, place down a storage chest or sign outside any noteworthy POI that you've just looted. Then write the day on the box or sign. This helps you to keep track of when loot will reset. If you aren't sure when the loot reset will be, by default, loot containers will reset every 7 days, provided that you are out of the area. So if you place down boxes and put signs on them, or even put a map marker with a day on it, it's pretty easy to keep track of when loot's going to respawn. A blindingly obvious mistake that most players will have made at least once is getting themselves boxed in. It's never a good idea to only have one way in and out. If you get overrun by zombies and you've got nowhere to go, then good night. Always have more than one way to escape. If you place down ladders 2 blocks off the ground, then you have a way in and out that zombies can't quite reach. Finishing off, don't waste the nights. This is something I used to do. Standing on a roof waiting for morning is a complete waste of time. That's not to say you should go running around at night during the early stages of a playthrough. If you're not brave enough to go out, then upgrade blocks, craft better gear, or work towards completing challenges. As the days tick on, things get a lot tougher. So wasting the nights is really not beneficial. Before I round this video off, I'm currently doing a giveaway on one of the new DLCs. The Butcher is a pretty cool looking outfit, and I have a Steam code to give away. Just leave a comment saying what your favourite POI in 7 Days to Die is. And I'll be drawing a winner in a future video. Thank you Jamers for helping me get the footage for this. But that's going to be it for this one. I hope you found this video useful. 7 Days to Die is all about trial and error. So while I have just made a video on avoiding mistakes, messing up is just a part of the game. So if you do something dumb and get yourself killed, don't feel disheartened. It's something that we all do. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.